Now Hyundai's Verna, despite having a petrol and diesel motor, hasn't had quite the same success as the petrol-powered City or the amount of attention that Volkswagen's new Vento has managed to garner. But Hyundai believe they've got answers as to why not in the new Verna. This is the all-new Verna and it's going to be in India in May. We're going to take a look to see what it's bringing to the Indian market. If we go by the looks, the Verna is certainly a winner. It's no more bland or boring. Hyundai is keeping a special eye out for Indian likes and dislikes. So there's the dual chrome exhaust tips for the Indian car. Overall, the Verna is sharp, handsome, sporty and eye-catching. On top of that, it looks smart and stylish on the inside too. The V-shaped dash looks youthful. The quality of plastics is also much better than before and gives the Verna a more upmarket feel, though it doesn't feel as solid as some of its rivals. Also, when Renuka drove the Verna in Dubai, she felt that it needed some changes and a bit more equipment. Now for Indian taste, the interiors have been tweaked. For instance, you have this beige key color on the inside, which Indians associate with being upmarket. The dash top is this new texture, rubberized finish, very smart, and of course there's wood accents as well. Apart from that, the Verna is really coming packed with a lot of equipment. Bluetooth connectivity for your phone, auxiliary in and USB connectivity seem to be must-haves nowadays. On top of that, the Verna has an automatic climate control along with an air filtration system. A segment first are the powered folding mirrors. The rearview mirror has an auto-dimming feature and it even has an inbuilt screen for the reversing camera. The screen is very good and the grids make it easy to use. It also has parking sensors. However, of utmost importance is the backseat experience. For the Indian spec car, some changes have been made. The backrest angle is more reclined for a more sofa-like feel, and the armrest is also a special feature for the Indian Verna. Sadly, there's no change to the squab, which means you're sitting low with the knees up position. There's no under-thigh support. So it's really not all that comfortable in that sense, but the good news is that you do have good leg room. Shift into the driver's seat and Hyundai is offering a huge spread. On the diesel front, there is the 90 bhp 1.4 litre diesel engine that we first saw in the i20. The top of the line motor is a 1.6 litre common rail engine with a variable geometry turbo pumping out 127 bhp. This can be had with a 4-speed auto or with a 6-speed manual like the one I was driving. It was quite a surprising motor. Well, if you're expecting an explosive diesel motor like we've seen in the Verna before, the 1.5 diesel motor, well, you'll be in for a bit of a disappointment. This one doesn't have that explosion and that rush of torque. In fact, I like it more because of that. You have nice soft boost torque coming in under 2000 RPM. It really comes in after 2, kicks in strong, and it stretches nicely. And considering you have a 6-speed gearbox on this, you can really put it to good use. With 26.5 kg of torque on tap early in the rev range, it really is no surprise. The 6-speed gearbox has a nice gear shift quality. The ratios are also well chosen so as to make the most of the extra gear. As a result, Hyundai claims that the diesel will return an incredible 22.3 kilometers per litre. It certainly looks likely to be the hot pick from the diesel lineup. But that's not all. In the petrol lineup, Hyundai will offer 2 petrol engines. There'll be a base 1.4 and a top-of-the-line 1.6. The 1.6 litre motor is from the all-new Gamma family of engines from Hyundai, and it will be offered with a 4-speed auto or a 5-speed manual. I drove the manual as well to get a feel of the all-new motor. It's really quite nice, especially for the city, because it feels nice and smooth at low speeds. It's got the peppy feeling, and it even has a nice mid-range for, those quick overtaking maneuvers. The thing is that once you pile on the revs, it ends up feeling a little bit coarse. So that keeps you from really pushing this hard, even though it has got the punch. It has 121 bhp of power, and if you put your foot down, you can feel it. The motor is keen to rev. It's the coarseness that keeps you from pushing hard. Driven sanely, Hyundai expects the 1.6 litre Gamma motor to return 17 km per litre. Be it performance or handling, the Verna isn't a car that's meant for hardcore enthusiasts. Its McPherson strut front and torsion beam at the rear aren't designed for hard cornering. Now, if you are thinking that the Verna is going to be as sharp in the handling department as it looks, well, you'll be mistaken, because the suspension is just too soft for anything too enthusiastic. Pitch it into a corner and you'll find that the rear just doesn't want to turn in. It's too soft. It's not a car that feels very confident. Even when you're braking hard, it doesn't feel all that planted. And the steering, well, it has nice weight at the deadhead position, but once you start turning in, you'll find that the electric steering just doesn't weigh up nicely. It doesn't feel very direct. It's overall not all that confidence inspiring. It's better to just cruise along in the new Verna. At moderate speeds, the Verna's passengers will feel relaxed and isolated. They'd really be quite comfortable in the backseat. The 195/55 R16 tires do help to soften the ride, though when you up the pace around windy corners, they also offer lots of grip. Now, like the earlier Verna, this Verna suspension setup is also focused towards passenger comfort, especially for the city. The rear suspension is really very soft, so when you're going at low speeds over bumps, it soaks it up quite well and it feels nice and refined. The thing is that it never feels quite level or very flat. It has a slight bobbing motion to it throughout, and when speed builds up, you'll find that the suspension can crash through potholes. However, when you drive them back to back, there is a difference in the handling of the diesel variant. The diesel feels better damped and more sure to drive at higher speeds. Still, the Verna won't be the enthusiast choice. When it is launched, it is the typical Hyundai traits of offering a well-equipped, reliable and comfortable car that are likely to get the Verna a lot of attention. So the new Verna, in terms of styling and in terms of interior equipment, is going to set a new benchmark for the cars in its class. Coming to the engines, I find that it's the diesel that's the pick for me. It's got a decent spread of torque. It comes in nice and early that way, and made it to the 6-speed gearbox, it really is easy to use. The petrol has good low-speed driving ability, but it's not as refined as other engines in that category. As far as passenger comfort goes, the ride is really set towards that. So if you're looking for something that has dynamic ability, then this might not be the car for you. And when the Verna is launched in May, it's really going to offer so much to the customer, and we expect it to be priced between 7.75 to 11 lakh rupees, because there is a wide range of options in terms of engines and transmissions, and of course the equipment list. So we are thinking that the all-new Verna is really going to offer a lot to the Indian customer.